Happy Friday, and thanks for tuning in to RadioFreeRhinecliff.org. In this show in particular, I'm your host, Norm. I'm thrilled to be here tonight with Dr. Greg Tumolo. Dr. Greg, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
What a treat. Now, I've known you for years, mostly in professional capacity, and I bumped into you in Tops a couple of months ago. I'm
Correct.
like, you got to come on. We talked about people we knew in common and stuff, and it led me to this question. I really want to know, do you bump into people out and about often, and you don't remember their name, but you remember their dog or their pet's name?
Yeah, so I talk about that quite a bit, actually. So it's like, you're going to get one of them right. You're never going to get both the husband, the wife, and or the animals. You're going to remember one of the four, and you're not going to get the sexes right. So usually I can remember the dog, or I can remember the person, but I can't remember the dog or the cat, or or the sex. And then sometimes you put your foot in your mouth when you're trying to fumble for that recall that's not there sometimes.
Oh, the recall. It's there less and less as the older I get.
Yeah.
Now, you're from Rhinebeck. You're born and raised here.
Correct.
And you work here. And I'm wondering, do you ever go out and not get harangued by somebody about some pet question?
Yes, pretty much. I have pretty secluded activities, not intentionally, but so I tend to, when I'm not at work either on my house or I'm skiing in the winter. So at the ski hill. So I might run in the chairlift, and then in the summer I'm on the river sailing quite a bit.
Oh, nice. And where do you keep your boat?
At Norrie Point.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I've been down there. A friend went had a boat down there. And what kind of sailboat is it?
It's just a 25-foot Catalina. It's like 50-year-old sailboat.
Uh-huh. And how long have you had it?
15 years.
That's pretty good. Yeah. What's it called?
Blue Mae.
And any idea why?
Yeah, it's the middle names of both my kids put together.
Oh, yeah. So you changed the name of the boat.
I did.
After you procured it.
I did.
Isn't that supposed to be bad luck on the water?
It is, and I actually just read an article about how you're supposed to do a renaming ceremony and toast Poseidon and the such. But so far, knock on wood, I've had good luck.
It's never too late to toast Poseidon.
I think if you name it after your kids, you're excluded.
And maybe so. So it's Blue Mae.
Yeah.
And that's both of their middle names?
Yeah, correct.
Those are pretty bitchin' middle names.
Yeah.
And how old are the kids?
One is 24. We're going to be 24 at the end of the month, and the other one's 20.
Nice. And so one of them's sort of done-ish with college or
yeah, so my older daughter, Addie, just got into medical school. She'll be starting in the fall.
Oh, sweet.
And then Delilah is in UC Boulder and having a good time there and spending the summer out there this year.
Wow. And are they both avid skiers as well?
They're very avid skiers, but not as much as their father.
Right. You'd think being out there in Boulder that.
Yeah.
And you went to college in Colorado.
I did, correct.
And grad school.
Yep.
And veterinary school.
Correct.
There's a lot of schooling.
Yeah, sure was. Some breaks in between. It wasn't straight through, but.
Oh, yeah? And what did you do in the breaks in between?
So I graduated with a degree in biology, and then I really went out to Colorado originally to ski. So I moved to Telluride.
Okay.
I actually lived in Telluride with a couple friends from Rhinebeck. Lived there for a ski season, and then came back here, got some more veterinary experience, and decided to go back to vet school.
You came back here
for a summer.
Got more veterinary experience.
For a year, yeah.
And did you know somebody in the veterinary business?
I really did know somebody in the veterinary business, my father.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. And he opened this practice in like 1970 or something.
Yeah, so the practice has been there since probably since before the 40s, but in its current location in the mid 40s. And then Dr. Gamir owned it, and then Ron Miller and Paul Mountain bought it, and it was a mixed animal practice. And my dad came into town in 1970 and worked for them. And then they wanted to do large animal, and he wanted to do small, so they decided a year later to split the practice into small and large. And the large one is now Rhinebeck Equine, and small one's Rhinebeck Animal Hospital.
Run by what?
Rhinebeck Equine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. And was there ever a question in your mind whether you do large or small? No.
Once I decided to be a veterinarian, I had no experience with horses or draw to the horse. Not that I don't like them. I just didn't have a lot of experience with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So you came back and you worked with your pop, and I'm guessing there were other veterinarians there.
Correct.
Um, and you that really sealed the deal. Did you suspect you wanted to be a vet?
Yeah, actually, the way it kind of unfolded was I went to Colorado to go to school because it was closer to better skiing, and then I think in my junior
better than Bel Air?
A little bit.
Okay.
Just a little. Yeah, so I think in my sophomore, junior year, I got a job at the veterinary teaching school there, and I was taking a lot of biology and anatomy classes at the time, and that's when the spark kind of lit for me. Yeah.
Right.
I think for a lot of young folks, the allure of being a veterinarian is very romantic. You think you're going to take care of it. I had grown up with it, and there are very, very endearing qualities about being a veterinarian, but there are the hard side, and, the long hours, the high stress. And so I was full aware of that, and I didn't have that romantic appeal to it as much as I had the intellectual appeal.
Huh. And what does that mean? Just like the way things work?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just able to put the science into the medicine, and I like the scope of veterinary medicine in compared to the human field in that you're able to do a little bit of everything versus get very specialized.
Right. How many species do you reckon you deal with?
I deal with mostly 3 or 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cats,
Cats,
dogs.
dogs, occasional pocket pet, occasional bird.
Right. Well, that's nice. And what's the weirdest animal you've ever been called on to treat?
Well, I didn't personally deal with it, but we saw Rockefeller, and there's that kids show about it came out a year or two ago about the owl that got stuck in the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, they sent it to a rescue up here, and they in turn brought it to us to get x-rays to make sure it was okay and didn't have any broken bones or anything. So they came through and got a picture of him, and very, very cute.
And his name was Rockefeller?
Yeah, they named it Rockefeller after him.
Good name.
Yeah.
And where did it go? The Raptor? Isn't there a Raptor Center around here somewhere?
Yeah, so Ravensbeard is I think they run out of Saugerties, and
Right.
they have a full facility, and they made sure the animals was able to that Rockefeller is able to survive, and then they re-released him once they knew he was safe.
Yeah, that's so. You see the videos of like re-releasing a rehabilitated animal, especially a bird, and it's just always so moving when they fly off or run off. David Attenborough does a lot of that stuff. Who just turned like 100 or something. That's crazy. So you grew up in this world. Were you also, like I couldn't get enough of Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Were you also seeing and reading a lot about? There's so much stuff for kids about animals, and raising animals and exploring the world of animals. Were you an enthusiast in that?
Probably not. I was around it just because it was part of our life. We live very close to the animal hospital, and my dad had a lot of emergencies, and we'd go there, and we'd have to check in with him about family stuff. So it was just around me all the time. So I don't think I had that endearing, inquisitive part of the animal part, because I saw it every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So you didn't have the romantic notions of being a vet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody, Jacob Hutchings, told me you've got a twin brother.
I do. Yeah.
Where's your twin brother?
He lives in the Caribbean.
Oh.
Yep.
That's
in the Turks and
convenient.
Caicos. Yeah.
That is. My sister lived in Puerto Rico for years. I was like, that is so nice to have a relative in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And does he do something with animals as well?
He does not. Although growing up, he actually worked in the animal hospital more than I did. And then, when he went to college, he went for horticulture. And so he's a horticulturist now in the Caribbean. And
wow.
And then I kind of flip-flopped, and I started to do the animal stuff.
Huh. Interesting. And is it just the two of you or other siblings?
2 other brothers, yeah. Yeah, 2 older brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 4 kids.
Yeah.
4 boys.
All within 4 years.
Double sorry, Mom. And are they around here?
They are not. One lives in Albuquerque, one lives in Sun Valley, Idaho. But they come through quite a bit.
That's nice.
Yeah, probably at least every 6 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough flight from Albuquerque
Yeah.
to here.
Yeah.
And are they in the animal world?
No. One is kind of into solar, and the older brother is a hedge fund manager, so that's why he goes to New York City about every 6 weeks. And then
And they all graduated Rhinebeck High?
no, my two older brothers went to private school, and then
Okay.
my twin brother and I stayed and finished out in high school.
And
at Rhinebeck.
how did that happen, that you all went there?
Just personal choices in our lives at the time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think my older brother, Jeff, left in 8th grade, but he's still friends with a lot of people that he went to high school with,
Yeah.
that we grew up with on the Chestnut Street. And then my older brother, Brian, left in junior year. So, and he's still in touch with a lot of his friends.
And
from
where did
school.
he go? That's kind of late in the game to
He
leave.
went to Westminster in Connecticut.
Okay.
At boarding school.
Huh.
Yeah.
And so that was a little bit of relief around the house. I mean, when I think of 4 boys,
Yeah.
I think of like rough housing nonstop.
Yeah, fighting all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did any of them grow up to become a pugilist or a cage boxer?
No.
Oh, wait, speaking of which, did you see they're putting like an ultimate cage boxing thing on the White House lawn?
I did not.
I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. It's for real. Egads. So was anybody ever seriously hurt in a skirmish?
No, but
at the
there's
Tumolo house?
plenty of fighting. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! It seems like it'd just be mayhem.
Yeah. By the time we were teenagers, we were good, but in younger years, it was rough sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what about you and your twin?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Sure. We throw down.
When do you remember when the last punch was thrown between the 4 boys?
Well, probably in the last 4 years, but
Really?
yeah.
That's such a good answer.
I guess a verbal punch more than a physical one. But
Verbal punch.
Close to verbal.
And is there still lingering sibling rivalry?
Not really. No, we get along pretty well for
Uh-huh.
the most part.
So what's the typical verbal punch from your nasty big brother?
Not so much my twin brother and I think, get in it more. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because we're just too similar, We finish each other's sentences.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know a lot about twins, but it seems like it could go either way.
Yeah.
That you would develop very similarly, or don't, or somewhere in between, I guess. But you develop very similarly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you, like some of these twins, ever have sort of your own language?
No, but like I said, we often will finish each other's thoughts or sentences
And-
when we're together. Even if we've been apart, he lives pretty far away. So even when we get back together and it's been 8 months or a year, we'll still do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. And what about mind reading? ESP. Do you ever feel like you're just right so in the finishing of the sentence that it sort of precedes the utterance of the sentence?
I don't think it's like an ESP thing as much as it is like neural hardwiring to like process the same way.
Uh-huh. Interesting. And what are some of the things where you're really in lockstep, and what are some of the things, if there are any, where you're not in sync with your twin?
We're pretty similar. We have similar interests. He likes to ski too. He also likes to sail. Like the same music. We'll often go together, see music together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What's the last concert you saw?
I went to the Sphere to see Fish.
No way.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, it really was.
And you might not want to say this out loud, because we're on air and this will live forever. How much acid did you take at the Sphere?
No acid, but maybe some other hallucinogens.
Yeah. And are people, I went to one Dead concert once, and, we parked in the parking lot. It was the Hartford Civic Center. And just walking in, people like acid. Like everybody's like hawking this stuff.
Yeah.
Is it like that at the Sphere?
No, I don't think. Well, they don't have. Well, I guess if you went maybe to the outdoor venue or flea market, what they call Shakedown Street, you might find that somebody.
Of
doing
course,
that.
they call it Shakedown
Yeah,
Street.
but
And how was Fish?
it was incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
they're phenomenal musicians.
Yeah.
Can't sing to save their lives, but
The Grateful Dead was not especially wonderful voices.
yeah, also Deadhead. So yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty of Dead shows.
Oh, yeah. Any of them stand out?
Gosh, probably I went on tour for the like 5 shows in the 90s. It was a good summer. It was fun.
Nice. And where were the 5 shows?
I think RFK, I think North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Foxborough.
And did you go with your brother?
No, with a group of friends from here. Yeah.
Group of friends. And so your friends now, were they mostly people you knew in high school?
Some of them, yeah. I'd say probably 80% of the ones I know from high school. I have 20% that aren't from high school.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And what year did you graduate?
1991.
91. Yeah. Rhinebeck High.
Rhinebeck High.
So I gotta ask, what has been the biggest thing to change about this town since your youth?
Change is part of life, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, if you look at the downtown area, it seems, mostly restaurants and real estate offices. I mean, you used to have an active hardware store, an active butcher shop. Stickles unfortunately closed.
No, that was so sad.
Yeah, very, very sad. Where CVS was an actual grocery store. The drugstore was in town, so it was actually someplace you'd go to do your errands. And now it's more of a kind of, I rarely get into the village anymore other than passing through on my way to work.
Right.
Or going to get something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, the change is a big part of the debate right now in this Democratic primary for town supervisor, which you're probably aware of. It gets a lot of press on the Daily Catch. And I wanted to ask, apropos of that, Amanda Miller and Debbie Hecht, the 2 candidates, both have pets, dogs. Which of their dogs do you think are more qualified to run this town?
I prefer not to comment.
All right, fine, fair enough. So when you were a kid, so many kids, a generation ago, you didn't eat out, but because mom cooked everything. But when you did go out to eat in Rhinebeck, where were the places you liked to go?
Well, because of my dad working very late, and this is before emergency clinics, so he'd often have to stay late for an emergency. Wouldn't be unusual to go to Foster's twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you still go to Foster's?
Very rarely.
Oh.
But the food is exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I happen to like the food at Foster's.
I do. I've had my fair share. I think you get a lifetime of a certain amount of Foster's, and then you move on.
And what was your go-to order as a youth?
When I was a kid, I think I got the London broil, sliced London broil, quite a bit.
It's still a popular dish.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And
stuffed clams.
And the stuffed clams. And the French dip,
yeah,
also very popular. Huh. And where do you go now? Do you go out to eat?
Not as much in the last year, but I go to Terrapin because they have later hours, and I tend to eat late.
Right.
So I tend to go there a fair bit.
And what are the hours?
I think they'll serve till 10 or 11. So usually you eat between 9 and 10 usually.
Nice. And what are your hours at the veterinarian clinic?
We're open till 6. We were pre-COVID. We were open 8:30, but I haven't been able to do that again since COVID. Been harder to staff things.
So you're seeing clients. What do you call the people who bring them?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what do you call the pets?
Patients.
Patients. So clients and patients.
Yeah.
And how do you describe the relationship between the patient and the client? Because people say, I say owner, but many people are like, no, it's not owner. It's,
Yeah. Well, I very much think of pets as part of the family. So I almost think of it as the relationship a pediatrician might have with their patients.
Right.
You have somebody who's in charge of authorizing care and what you can do, and then you have the actual patient who may have a difficult time communicating what's going on and might bite or kick you.
Yeah. Yeah. And can you tell which animals are going to bite or kick just from popping in the door and seeing them?
Most of the time, although I got bit last week and I didn't see it coming. There was no body language that was indicating that was going to happen. So.
And was it a cat or a pocket pet or?
It was a large dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's all healed now, but
it's all healed
my
now.
forearm. Yep.
Huh. So, did it break the skin?
Just barely, like a blood blister.
and which is enough.
Yeah.
And so, did you get rabies shots?
I have a pre-vaccination for rabies, and the dog was up to date on rabies, so I
Okay.
was not concerned about it.
Okay. When I didn't even know there was such a thing as a pre-vaccination.
Yeah, yeah. So most of our high-risk staff, the technicians and some of our veterinary assistants who've been there, and all the doctors, have pre-exposure rabies vaccines, and then we titer them every 3 years or so to make sure our titers are good.
Right. Because that's some serious shit, rabies.
It really is.
And a bat landed on me, and I don't know, almost a decade ago.
60,000 people a year die from rabies. And
60,000?
It is not a good way to go. Not that many in this country, but worldwide, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I read. This bat landed on me, and everybody's like, we got to get rabies shots. Because I caught it in a towel, and I took it outside and let it loose. And everybody was like, why'd you do that? Like this is the guy I talked to in the CDC and the county health. Everybody's like, why'd you do that? So I had to get these shots. It was kind of a hassle.
You have a pre-exposure rabies vaccine now.
I do?
Yeah. Well, your titers might still be good.
Oh, yay. Good. It was a decade ago.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will never make sense for me to get up to date on the.
Yeah.
But be better than the shots. The shot was nothing. The gamma globulin was the real hassle.
Yeah.
The nurse came in and said, "Okay, good news." I'm like, "What?" I'm like 240 pounds. She said, "We're able to get all the gamma globulin into 4 large syringes." I'm like, "That's good news." And she brought in another nurse. Each one had a syringe, a 3, 2, 1 jab. Ugh, not good. Have you ever had that?
I have not had that, but there was a cat, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. It was at the Red Hook Golf Course, and it was kept coming out of the bushes and biting people on the way to their cars. And so I get this went on for 4 or 5 days. I think it ended up biting 5 people. Somebody was able to scoop it with a fishing net they had in the back of their pickup, and they brought it in, and I euthanized it and sent it off for testing, and it was positive. So then the health department had to canvass the area and contact all those people, and they get post-exposure shots. They thought it was just a random bite, I think, when the cat was doing it, but he kept coming in back and.
Egads.
And when I went to euthanize, it was very aggressive, charging me through the cage. And
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the risk of death if you've gotten bit by a rabid animal.
100%.
Humans. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the bat didn't bite me.
Probably like one of the most horrific ways you can pass. It's just terrible.
Ugh. And so apart from this cat, the Red Hook Golf Club feline. And I kind of love the environmental story. This cat being like, no, it's a terrorist monoculture. You're like ruining the environment, sucking all this water. Apart from that, do you see many animals with rabies?
Not that we know of, no. But mostly because we vaccinate so much.
Right. And do you killed the cat, you euthanized the cat.
Yeah.
Do they have to be euthanized to determine whether they have the rabies?
They do, yeah. It's not a fun process, the testing of a rabid animal.
No, that's not. It's not. It must not be fun. But you probably, I'm just gonna guess, you're euthanizing animals often. That's the most humane thing to do with older or seriously ill animals, and that happens at your office.
Correct. Yep.
That must be really emotionally draining.
It can be. I think we were talking before the show. I find it to be a gift. One of the best parts of the profession is that we have that ability to do that.
Right.
And both provide a graceful exit for the animals, and to help guide, the owners through such a terrible part of owning an animal or the relationship that we share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 pets, a golden retriever and a Vizsla, I think I told you, and then both had to be euthanized. And both times, it's just blubbering, just uncontrollable blubbering, what I think they call ugly crying. And when my parents died, it wasn't like that. And, I miss my parents a lot longer. I feel them a lot more. But at the time of the death of these pets, it was just so trying. Does everybody blubber?
No, that's interesting. And I experienced my own, my mom passed away about 6 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear.
Oh, it's okay. It's sad, but, healing still, but doing well. The one thing I have learned about guiding people through the euthanasia process and taking animals through it is there's no right or wrong way to grieve.
Right.
And everybody does it different, and that's okay. Some people don't want to show their emotions and have to hide that, and that's okay. And some people need to spend hours with the animal after it's deceased, and some people don't want to be present for it. And everyone has their own way through the fire, so to speak, and we all have to walk through that fire at some point in our lives. It's just different for everyone.
Oof. And did you have courses in that in veterinarian school?
Yeah, we did have very short kind of, maybe 2 lectures on it. I wouldn't say a course. Yeah.
Right. But it was covered.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine was helpful the first time you really had to deal with that.
Yeah. Again, for me, it was something I was used to because I had, helped my dad do it over the years, and it was very much a part of my upbringing. But I think it can be for some of the newer graduates something very difficult to work through.
And did you grow up with pets in your house?
Yep. Sure did. Yep.
Pocket.
No pocket cats. We had a cat, and had Newfoundlands for a while, and then we had golden retrievers. And that was pretty much what we grew up with.
And do you have a pet now?
I have had 2 dogs. I recently lost them, but yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I'm taking a break and going sailing and skiing guilt-free right now. So I'm going to do that for another year or so, and then I'll probably get another pet.
Yeah. And I guess you probably just board them at the Rhinebeck Animal Hospital.
No, I usually leave them with my dad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sweet. I mean, because that's a consideration, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to travel somewhere, you've got to get a house sitter or pet sitter or board them somewhere. It adds a lot of money to the break. So you grew up. Did you ever have cats in your house?
Yeah, we had a cat, Daisy. I got her when we were in
Daisy.
Remember? Yep.
Nice.
She's named after Daisy from Daisy Duke.
Oh, nice.
It was a very popular show at the time.
I remember.
And she, I think I was in kindergarten when we got her, and I think she ended up being a hospital cat towards the end, and I think she made it till I was 23 or 24. She lived a long, long time.
That's a good long life.
Yeah.
What's the oldest cat you ever saw in your practice?
Probably 24.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So Daisy was right up there.
Yeah, she was right up there.
And if you were to get another dog, what breed do you think you'd get?
I'd probably get probably a Border Collie mix or an Australian Shepherd mix.
Uh-huh. Are you a jogger?
No, a hiker. I do like to hike.
Okay.
So
Those are high energy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Dogs. And where do you like to hike around here?
In the Catskills when I can.
Yeah. You a member of the Catskill 23 Club or whatever?
Not, but I have some friends that are, and sometimes I'll go hiking with them. Yeah.
And do you know how many of the peaks you've summited?
I don't.
Right.
I don't.
The Catskills are just so spectacular.
Yeah.
And right here. And did you grow up doing a lot of outdoor stuff? It was a big draw for this area, right?
Yeah, we grew up doing a lot of pop-up camping. Yeah, in the Catskills.
You had like a trailer that popped up?
Yeah.
I love those things.
Yeah.
So grew up in this pop-up trailer, which your folks dragged behind their car. Then you'd find a site, you'd pop it up, and 6 people would camp out in there?
Yeah, we'd usually go with a couple families, so usually more than just us, but yeah.
Well, it's a lot of people in a small space.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's
only for sleeping, right? You're not doing anything in between usually unless it's raining, but
yeah. And where were some of the places y'all loved to go?
We used to go to, there was a place called Uncle Pete's that was right on over.
Was it a campground?
It was a campground, yeah. We did a lot of fishing when we went, trout fishing when we went.
And sorry I interrupted, where was Uncle Pete's?
I think right outside of Phoenicia somewhere, not too far away.
Uncle Pete's campground.
Campground, yeah.
And you'd set up the tent, and you'd meet strangers, I'm guessing, who were there sort of in the next site. They paid their $12.
We usually go with 2 or 3 families from here.
Okay.
And then we'd
So you were
probably didn't meet a lot of
all
other
set.
campers. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do that when I was a kid, a lot older than you. We would pitch the tent, and it was just us, 4 of us in the family. And it was always, and we had this huge tent, weighed like 800 pounds. It's like canvas from Sears Roebuck. And it was always meeting these strangers at these campgrounds where you'd pay whatever, $5 or $10
Yeah.
come for a site. And did you do that with your kids?
I did not. My kids really don't like camping. When I lived in Colorado, I did a lot of backcountry camping. So I did a lot of backpacking and then camping out, and was very much into that for a while. My kids did not take to camping.
Yeah. So backcountry camping, you must have seen some really impressive wildlife.
Yeah. Yeah.
What animals have you seen in the wild that just made you stop and go, holy crap, that's amazing?
Well, I backpacked in Glacier. We didn't really see it, but the whole thing about going to Glacier National Park is that there's so many grizzlies, and they have a few maulings there every year. And so we saw a bear scat, and honestly, at points was scared quite a bit. If you run into a grizzly, that's no joke.
And did you have pepper spray or a gun? Or
No. I think that's a good way just to make them more angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do, before you go to the backcountry there, you have to watch a video to, show you what you're supposed to do if you do run into one.
Uh-huh. And how explicit is the video?
It didn't show you anything like Bear Man,
Yeah.
but it showed you what you should do. You should, look for food, pretend like you're looking for food and back away, and
Pretend you're looking for food.
Yeah, just look on the ground.
Look at the ground,
Yeah.
looking for like raspberries.
Try not to be threatening.
Just here looking for loose strawberries.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Yeah.
And that was the advice they had?
Well, it was a whole video. I can't remember. It was 15, 20 years ago now, so it's hard to remember. But before you get a backcountry permit there, they make you sit down in their office and watch the video.
Yeah. And when's the last time you've done any backcountry camping?
Probably 15 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were scared straight after that video.
Yeah, probably.
What was I going to ask? What other? So you didn't see a grizzly.
I didn't.
But what other animals in the wild really impressed you?
Mountain lion. Yeah, I saw one driving to go camping one night across the road, and it's just taken back by how long the tail was.
Yeah.
Tail itself must have been 6 feet long.
Yeah, and where was that?
Probably between Gunnison and Montrose, Colorado.
Oh, that's Colorado.
Right outside the Black Canyon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a mountain lion in Woodstock.
Really?
Yeah. Where all the old timers like,
Wow.
they're here. And the DEC's like, nope,
Yeah.
no mountain lions here. Nothing to look at, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
And so what'd you do when you saw the mountain lion?
I was driving, so I would have been beside myself if I wasn't driving. I would have been scared.
And did you get a camera?
I didn't.
Did you get a
No,
picture?
he just kind of shot across the road and then was there for a second and gone.
Yeah, they don't
But I did see a black bear on Burger Road the other day, so same experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I moved here from Woodstock, and there were bears all the time. I said, it's the Catskills. And I was shocked to find out that there were bears here as well, but people see them all the time. And bobcats,
Yeah.
which are so, I love seeing a bobcat, and foxes.
Yeah.
I always feel so lucky when I see a fox cross the road. And it's almost always on Mount Rutson.
Huh.
Yeah. You should put a fox crossing sign up there. Well, I want to stick with the wildlife a little bit more. What are you interested in? Invertebrates as well.
Not so much. I think I got a degree in zoology after my biology degree, and that kind of broke me of any invertebrate.
Because there's billions and billions of different ones.
I think it was the nomenclature stuff. It was just, oh gosh, phylum, class, order. It's just tedious.
Yeah. So right now you said you work basically with 3 types of animals.
Yeah.
Are dogs, is a Chihuahua significantly different from like a Great Dane in terms of like the inner workings?
Yeah, well, where the problem areas are, sure. Yeah.
And what are the problem areas?
Well, Great Dane, I might be worried about bloat or
Flu?
bloat
Oh,
or osteosarcoma, and a Chihuahua, I'd be more worried about something like inflammatory bowel disease or, brain tumor, something along that line, or hydrocephalus. So they all carry their own.
are there breeds of dog that you recommend people don't get?
It's hard to say because there's an emotional attachment to that. From a health standpoint, sure. I don't think an English Bulldog would survive a day in the wild. So they have a lot of health concerns. Does that mean you shouldn't get one? That's up to the person to decide, not me.
Right.
But I think you could choose a healthier breed.
Yeah. And are all dogs descended from the same, animal, from wolves?
Yeah. Over 10,000 years ago, yeah.
And have people been breeding them for like all the 10,000 years?
No, they co-evolve with people. And sometimes the interesting thing comes up that, dogs should be gluten-free. And we've actually talked about it amongst the doctors, is that dogs actually have a gene to process gluten because they co-evolved with humans. They used to follow the hunter-gatherers around when they were in their camps, and they used to eat the trailings or the things that were left behind, and then they started to throw things to them, and then dogs started to serve a purpose of protecting, those communities. And then, you kind of see it as street dogs when you go travel in the developing world, that, the street dogs kind of have that same, they're around, and then they do serve a purpose, in those environments.
And when you travel, are you you're always looking at the pets, at the companion animals?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
That dog's got a limp.
But are you the kind of person, my buddy Stinky, all the time, like you travel anywhere with him, and it takes forever because he's like, oh, Pooch. He stops and needs to pet every dog.
I don't need to pet every dog, but I usually, if they come to me, I will, but I won't go,
And when you travel, I'm guessing you probably see breeds that you don't see here.
Yeah, it's interesting because, my younger daughter's going to school in Colorado now, and right now here, things come in waves. I remember this just growing up here that, for a while everyone had labs, for a while everyone had Goldens, and now everyone's got Doodles and Frenchies. I go to Colorado, and it's interesting. There's a lot more Golden Retrievers in Colorado for whatever reason. I think
they look better with a bandana tied around their neck.
Yeah, probably.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Was it culture shock leaving here and going to Colorado?
No, it was hard coming back. I had lived there for 15 years. Definitely adjust me coming back.
Were you in the Denver area? I don't know where.
Fort Collins is an hour north of Denver.
Oh, okay. I've never been there. I was in Denver, I don't know, like 30 years ago. I was like, this is a fucking cow town.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for how sort of Western it was.
Yeah, not anymore. But yeah, when I remember when I went out there to look at schools, I drove from Denver to Fort Collins, which was an hour north. It's probably an hour and a half now, but there was nothing except for one stop between. It was all prairie. And then now, when I go there, when you land, that was in 1991, 1990, and then there's nothing but houses and strip malls all the way between the two. So
yeah,
it's a huge growth.
So you didn't have culture shock going to Fort Collins, but then after spending all that time there, you had culture shock coming back?
I did a little bit, yeah.
What were the things that really you noticed that really hit you?
The people are a lot different. The mannerisms are a lot different. People are more open and friendly out there, but maybe less intellectual. So there's just different, neither good or bad, just a lot different than what I had gotten used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of going back there after you retired?
No, I thought about staying there when I was finished with school, but I ultimately came to the decision not to.
Uh-huh.
And then I haven't really thought about moving back to Colorado now.
Right. But when you came back to join your dad's practice.
Correct. Yep.
And you had previously worked with him, interned with him. How was it working with your pop? It seems like that could be tough.
It's been great. It has been nothing but fantastic.
Is he going
The
to take
staff
his belt?
sometimes laugh because we bicker, and especially if we're doing surgery together. But there's so much to learn from him. He's been doing it for 50 years. He's a phenomenal surgeon. He has something to teach all of us in surgery. So,
And what do you bicker about? Like he's being overbearing and you're being impertinent?
no, well, we do. What our operations might be different, or I'm thinking about this and he's thinking about that, and I tend to think more about the anesthesia, and he tends to think more about the surgery, and just little things.
And does he sort of mutter out loud under his breath, like, I want to do that first?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's so sweet. But it certainly brought you closer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And what a gift that is for a kid.
Tremendous, yeah.
To be that close to any of their parents.
Yeah.
And your brothers must be a little bit, I mean, if they're thinking about it, they must be a little envious that you had all that time to develop it.
I don't think they're envious, but I think they appreciate it. I think they like it. I think they like that somebody's there with them.
And when Dad got home with your kids, and Dad got home late from work, was he a tough dad?
Yeah, he could be tough.
Strict?
Yeah, he could be strict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very care to expand?
Yeah. Well,
is he listening?
Probably, or he will, right? Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. These things go up online on the radiofreeRencliffe.org site at some point in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question. I asked Polly Kaplan for some questions. Let me see if I can find it here. And she had some very good questions about dog training. Polly Kaplan, owner of Serious Polly Dog Training. She said, could you ask him, if you have time, what sort of training philosophy he believes in? I was not aware there were different training philosophies.
I actually don't assign myself to one training style, because I feel like training and trainers and dog personalities is a lot like finding a therapist for people. There has to be a good fit with the owner's philosophy, the dog's behavior, and everyone has to be on the same page with that. So I'm all for exploring that relationship with individual trainers till somebody finds the right fit for them.
Right.
I do think there are some dogs that need a soft touch, and I do think there are dogs that need a little harder touch, and that's different.
And is there any generalizing by breed, and which ones need harder versus softer?
I wouldn't even pigeonhole it to breeds, but there can be really strong-minded dogs that need boundaries, clear boundaries, and there are really fearful dogs that need a lot of encouragement, and they need to build their confidence.
And so when you got dogs as puppies, did your family have rules about training them?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like any house, right? It starts with good intentions and falls by the wayside very quickly.
Yeah, which is tough.
Yeah.
I imagine any dog trainer will tell you, no, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is your dogs were not especially well trained.
Probably not, no.
Did you feed them from the table?
Not a lot, but yeah, of course, yeah.
Uh-huh. And
more as an adult than I did growing up. Yeah, it was more a thing in my present house than it was growing up.
Uh-huh. And would just table scraps of meat or bread or
whatever? Yeah, whatever. Currently, yeah, I'll throw them. I'm the proud grandfather of 2 dogs now, so
sweet.
I don't have to worry about it, so I feed them a lot of stuff from the table.
Oh, that's great. That's the job of
growing up. Our dogs weren't allowed on the couch. And I mean, that's another thing. Is this like I always tell people that come in is like, if you told somebody you were taking your dog to doggy daycare in the 80s, they would have laughed you out of the room. And now it's just so commonplace. It's just a cultural change, which is great. And I don't have any problem with it, but it just shows you how everything has evolved. I remember when I was growing up in the 70s, you just let your dog out the back door. There wasn't even a leash, and you call them in at dinner time.
And hopefully they'd be there.
Yeah, and I remember we don't see very many hit by cars, but I remember my dad growing up when in the 70s and early 80s, there were a lot of hit by cars.
Yeah. Wow. Do people ever bring wild animals in for you to treat?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. And
Dr. Vandermark takes most of those because he has a special interest in that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what is that called? Is there an area of specialty?
It's called zoonotic medicine, or
Zoonotic?
Yeah, or
Okay.
not exotic. There's two different specialties that you can get, and if you want to do that.
Now, and you have a certification in animal acupuncture.
I do.
And how did you become interested in that?
When I was going to school, I don't get to practice it a whole lot anymore because it's just too time consuming in my present practice. But there was a human physician who had gone to vet school and was trained in human acupuncture, and she started to train a lot of the people, and it was an opportunity to take a 6-week, it was a pretty intense class. It was almost a whole semester long, and I remember having to study for it more than I wanted to in my senior year of veterinary school. But it was very intensive, and it was, a great modality.
And a great modality. And what was it especially useful for in animals?
I find it particularly useful for dogs who have disc paralysis, that when they have a blown disc and they get neurologic and they have dysfunction. Some of the papers show that it may improve recovery twice as fast.
In what way? Does it reduce inflammation or?
I think it continues to get the nerves because the nerves are kind of pinched. It kind of gets the nerves to fire while they're, to start waking up and start, kind of exercising them before they're getting signals from the, higher level brain centers.
Right. So if you were to get back into that, would you sort of like take a refresher course on doggy acupuncture?
Yeah, I probably would. I mean, I still do use it for disc dogs. That's pretty much the only thing I do, but I wouldn't treat a dog with allergies. I don't treat a lot of arthritis dogs anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore.
And so where do the arthritic dogs go?
There's a lot of mobile vets that do that, and it's probably a better modality for a mobile vet than it is in the veterinary office when they get too anxious when they're coming into the office.
Does that mean mobile? Like they've got a van, they drive around and treat?
Yeah, van or a car.
Which is how it works for the large animals, the farm animals.
Yeah.
The vet drives around.
Yeah.
So in vet school, did you have to do sort of a segment on farm animals?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You have to learn both species. You can kind of specialize at the end. But I had to do a large animal rotation. I knew I was in trouble when I had rounds one morning, and I said I went into the cage last night, and the professor looked at me and says, "We call them stalls over here."
And I'm guessing out there was horses and cows.
Yeah, horses, cows, llamas. A lot of llamas in Colorado, and alpacas in Colorado.
Oh, wow. Now, do they really spit, the llamas?
They sure do.
What the hell? What's with that?
You don't want to be in their line of fire if you can avoid it.
And are they? So they're not just spitting; they're spitting at you.
Yeah, yeah.
How come?
It's a defense mechanism.
Huh? And does it?
They don't have claws, I guess.
So they have hooves. They might be sharp.
Yeah.
So you've been spit on by a llama. Does it smell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it hard to wash off?
No, it's better than anal glands.
Wow, that's surprising. So are there things that, conventional wisdom, like in vet school, they're like, oh, right, when that happens, get hydrogen peroxide and baking soda or whatever.
Not that I ever heard. Yeah.
Old wives' remedies to get anal gland schmutz off you. Ugh. So I'm just imagining a huge bar of soap in the vet schools. And did vet schools, do they use a particular kind of soap?
Yeah, I mean, most usually surgical scrub that's antibacterial.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you do that in between every animal see, probably. You wear gloves for the stuff?
For some of the procedures, for anal glands expression, for sure.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
Anal glands expression. Which is what it's called, to express anal glands. What's with that? Why do they build up this fluid? And this is just dogs?
Yeah, cats can have a problem with it too, but not nearly as frequently.
And is it just one gender of animal?
No, both
Nope.
have it. Yeah,
Charming.
It's what makes the skunk smell. So, and it's why they probably smell each other's rear ends every time they meet each other.
Yeah. So why does that have to be done. I mean, there's nothing in nature that does that. How do they deal with that on their own?
Yeah, so I do think it's probably in some part, not all the time, but some part a manifestation of breeding. We've bred these animals.
Right.
I mean, if a wolf was our starting point and we breed these dogs down to be a Maltese size, then sure, the anal gland might not be in the proper position, or the duct might be small, or, just might be some abnormality that is secondary to that.
Right. So wolves, do they not have that problem?
I don't know, but I don't think so, and I rarely think it would be a problem for them.
Well, they don't have opposable thumbs,
Yeah.
so I wonder how the wolves, if it is a problem, how they're taken care of.
Well, the tongue replaces the opposable thumb in dogs for.
This is Greg. This is a family show.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, it's very interesting that here's a problem that was really bred into an animal that was good before man started fucking with it.
Oh yeah, we've done that in 1,000 different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's probably a whole bunch of problems like that.
Yeah, a Frenchie or a bulldog can't breathe properly. That's not.
Frenchie. That's a French bulldog.
Yeah.
Yeah, they famously congested.
Yeah, they can't. And we bred that to be that way. And
why? Why would anybody?
Because they're cute, and they are.
They're cute, but they sound horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just sounds.
I don't think natural selection would have picked that way, but
you never know. Well, what about? Have you ever heard of this poem, the Rainbow Bridge?
Yeah.
Yeah. The woman who wrote that was in here.
Oh.
Talked to her. She was visiting from like Inverness, Scotland, or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So what do you think happens to? And this is a bigger question, I guess. Human souls and animal souls after death.
Oh boy, that's deep. I definitely think animals have souls. I don't have a question about that.
Yeah.
And I can't speak to what happens, but I think something happens.
Right.
And that energy goes somewhere. Maybe it crosses dimensions. Maybe it finds another soul to visit, or what the next step is. I don't know.
I love that idea, and finding another soul to visit.
Yeah.
So were you raised religious?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah. Not hard Catholic, but we went to church.
Yeah. And did one or the other parents sort of drive that?
Both. Yeah, they were both raised Catholic, so
that's
yeah.
nice. And how did they find their way to Rhinebeck?
My dad finished his internship at Cornell, and somebody knew Ron and Paul from there and said, "Hey, they're looking for somebody. You should go work for them." And so then he came down and looked at it, and then the rest was kind of history, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. People sort of get stuck here because it's just an amazing place.
Yeah.
And did you ever think growing up, like, I can't wait to get out of here?
Yeah, when I was a senior in high school, I could not wait to get out of here. Yeah.
And then 12 years, is that what you said, or 15 years in Colorado?
Yeah.
Sort of cured you of that?
Yeah, I mean, well, at that point, then you have kids, and you start thinking about the other thing, like, where do you raise your kids? I very much love my upbringing here, and very much, respect the community that we grew up in. I have friends that I've known since kindergarten, and still my best friends. I can call them for anything, and I see that with my kids now, which is just very powerful.
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
And your kids, I know you talked about your siblings. Did your kids graduate Rhinebeck?
Yes, they did. Yeah, yeah.
And how was their experience?
Similar. I think they're in that stage where they are done with it and want to just be in big city and not be here, and they like to visit quickly, but they, too small for them right now.
Yeah.
Which I get. That's the age.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would want my kids to go away and see some of the world and live somewhere else. And then I want them all to come back.
Yeah.
And
more open-minded and appreciative.
Yeah. Yeah. My youngest, he's 22, and he's got a place in Brooklyn. Yeah. He's almost never there. He's like, I like it up here.
Yeah.
I like the nature. I like the river. I like golfing and tennis, and it's all the stuff he loves is right here. And I'd love it if he got away somewhere for a few years, but that might not happen. And I love that they all want to be here. Do you think that they will maybe eventually end up back here?
I can't answer that now. I would say right now, probably not, but who knows, you know? When you start having kids and you think about where you're going to raise them, that changes a lot.
Yeah. So your job is basically a diagnostician, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's
Part of
the
it.
main crux. What are the other?
Surgery.
That's the first step, right? And,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, do you use AI for that at all?
Not yet. We're starting to use AI for scribing a lot of our charts, but we have not used it for diagnostics yet.
Scribing for marking down what's going
our
on.
medical records.
And do you must get like Veterinarians Weekly magazine or something, or are there lots of veterinarian practices that are starting to use AI for diagnostics?
I'm in a group that probably 20 veterinary practices that we meet twice a year, and I actually have one next week, and we're going to meet in Buffalo, but private practitioners, not corporate. And they some are from San Francisco, Florida, all over Wisconsin, all over the whole country is really, and we talk about it, all these things, you know, twice a year. And
it must be so nice.
Some of them are using it for radiology, but they said it's just not there yet.
Right. It must be nice to meet your peers.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And also sort of like business peers. I never even thought about like corporations. I mean, I know in the medical world, the corporations buying up everything. Is it the same thing that's happening?
Yeah, especially post-pandemic. Yeah, I think it might be 70% consolidated now in the veterinary industry.
So are they knocking on your door all the time?
Every day I get a call. Yeah, message. Hi, I'm calling from Mission Vet Partners. Wanted to see if there's anything we could do. If we could meet for lunch. You know, every day. And we're so not in that mindset, nor do we have any interest in doing that. But a lot of the practice around us have sold. So.
And then what? And then you'd be working for the man. Yeah,
and then everything becomes very corporate and more about the bottom line than about the patient and the pet relationship. And you know, you need to do this test, you need to do that test, you need to, instead of just taking your eyes off of that and looking at the bond and what each person walks through the door needs something different for their pet.
Yeah, and your website says that about you, that you're all about the relationship with the animal.
Yeah, and you know, some people come in, they want to do MRIs on their pets, and some people want to come in, they don't have the economics to do that, and so you have to respect that too. And that's hard.
Do you see dogs, say for an annual checkup, and they come in and they remember you?
Yeah,
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We're out of time.
Oh wow!
I can't even believe it. It always zooms by and speeds up towards the end.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming and chatting. I've been talking with Dr. Greg Tumolo, and it's just been such a treat. And
been great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a great Friday. Thanks to producer extraordinaire Jen Hammoud for making this show happen in the Nook at the Epicurean, the fabulous corner store in Raincliffe, New York. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.